Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we sit down with Mike Scheer from Agri Solutions to talk about 2014 Farm Bill implementation. Inside Kansas Ag has Kansas Soybean introducing us to the Soybean Research and Information Initiative, and Farm Bureau discusses bridging the gap between farmers and consumers. And in news you need to know, we have our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. Ethanol production continues to fall, yet ethanol inventory is still increasing, causing ethanol prices to fall to their lowest level since June of 2010. September saw a near free fall in ethanol futures as prices declined more than 60 cents per gallon. The slowdown in demand for ethanol also means less demand for corn, which is contributing to the lower prices on corn. China's government has launched a large-scale media campaign in support of genetically modified crops. China hopes that GMOs will play a major role in boosting its food security. Beijing has been a longtime supporter of GMOs and sees them as broadly safe and the potential key to help feed the world's largest population. USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service has completed its investigation into the May 2013 discovery of an unimproved Roundup Ready trait in isolated wheat plants. APHIS has determined that the source of the Roundup Ready trait is inconclusive, but reconfirmed that there is no indication that any wheat with this unapproved trait has entered the commercial supply chain. And in local news, the USDA has awarded over $303,000 to Kansas Department of Agriculture through the Specialty Crop Block Grant Program with the intent to increase opportunities for specialty crops produced in Kansas. Projects funded include a grant to Kansas State University to research how to improve shelf life, quality, and safety of locally grown vegetables in Kansas, while Harper County Community Educational Center's grant will be used to develop sustainable practices for growing and preparing fruits and vegetables for local markets. For a complete list of all projects funded, go to agriculture.ks.gov. October is National Pork Month, and what better time to highlight the 1,000 pig farms throughout the state of Kansas that contribute over $850 million to the Kansas economy and support more than 7,000 jobs across our state. Governor Sam Brownback signed a proclamation declaring October as Kansas Pork Month and encourages all Kansans to support this vital part of the state's agricultural industry. For more information on Kansas Pork Month, visit kspork.org. According to USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service, Kansas winter wheat planted was at 31%, near both last year's planting and the 5-year average of 30%. Corn harvested was at 35%, up from 25% last year, but behind the 44% average. Sorghum harvested was at 5%, right between the 3% last year and the 7% average. Soybeans harvested were at 2%, well behind last year's 7% and the 8% average. Up next in our Ag Feature, we sit down with Mike Scheer from Agri Solutions to talk about 2014 Farm Bill implementation. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned. If you'd like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call at 785-554-5974.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com.
A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Poe, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
At Ag Risk Solutions, we have been helping our clients make better crop insurance decisions since 1981. We always focus on helping you find the best coverage options for your farm, and it will give you peace of mind knowing you have a partner you can trust. To learn more about our agency, please visit our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution.
Ag Risk Solutions is an equal opportunity provider.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City. Bending over backwards for you.
Today we're joined by Mike Shear with Agri Solutions, and we're in Atchison County at their office. And Mike, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Fall harvest is well underway. We're in the middle of October, and what should producers be thinking about when they're thinking about the new Farm Bill?
Yeah, there's a couple things I think right now. You know, obviously our program decision is a little ways off yet, but one thing I tell producers is they should have received an acreage summary report from FSA probably a couple months ago. If they haven't already looked at that and verified that it's accurate, that's something they need to do, and if they see any problems, notify FSA, because that will affect some of the decisions that they'll make in the future then. And also, I'd like to let everyone know that when it comes to actually making that PLC versus ARC decision, we are going to be one of the sponsors for a series of meetings that Kansas State University is putting on across the state to help producers with that decision. It looks like those will probably be in that January and February timeframe. Mm-hmm. And then we'll probably be having some meetings of our own to help producers with that as well.
We talk a lot about ARC and PLC, but there's other crop insurance opportunities within the Farm Bill.
That's right, yeah, and there's a couple things I'd focus on today for producers to begin thinking about that specifically pertain to crop insurance. The first is what they're calling the Beginning Farmer and Rancher Program. Mm-hmm. And essentially what that is if you've been farming for fewer than 5 years, when you were out of school and not in active duty military, you possibly qualify as a beginning farmer and rancher. And there's several benefits to that, but it includes reduced premium is probably the most exciting thing for producers out there about it. It's probably the savings in premium. So that's something if you think you might qualify for or have someone in your operation that qualifies to be thinking about. And then also they improved crop insurance as it relates to irrigated ground. So for 2015, starting with corn and soybeans, producers are going to be able to keep their irrigated ground in a separate enterprise unit from their non-irrigated ground. So that's a huge improvement in crop insurance for producers with irrigation. So I would encourage anyone who either thinks they may qualify for the beginning farmer and rancher or has irrigated ground to contact us to learn more details about those programs.
How should they separate that irrigated versus dry land? I mean, sometimes you turn pivots on, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, most of the time around here, hopefully if you have water, we're going to be able to use them. But it's something they also need to think about as they go through fall harvest this year and making sure if they want to utilize that they're keeping their yield separate correctly this year so that they'll be set up to do that. So like I said, contact us to learn more, I'd say, about how to make sure you qualify for that.
Perfect. We're going to be right back in just a minute, and we're going to talk more with Mike Shear at Agri Solutions. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
We're joined by Mike Shear today at Agri Solutions, and we're talking Farm Bill, and we're going to talk about commodity prices. It's great having a record harvest, and this year we may have a record harvest in corn and soybeans, but that also drives down price. How does that affect crop insurance when we know we're going to bottom out on some prices?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think everyone out there knows that our prices are dramatically lower than they were when we started this crop year. So in crop insurance terms, our base prices for coverage were set back in February on corn, grain, sorghum, and soybeans. And we're looking at harvest price being dramatically lower than that. And in situations like that, you hear crop agents and farmers talk a lot about revenue losses. And so we've already had some clients asking about how that's going to work this year, or can they expect to get paid on revenue claims? And the trouble is, we're probably still not going to have many revenue claims throughout our area due to those extremely high yields like you talked about. So just as some examples, if you had 120 bushel average corn yield and you're carrying 75% coverage, with the way commodity prices are today, you would still need a yield below 128 to trigger a claim. So that's just a little bit above that average. Most of the reports we're getting from customers are yields that are drastically above average. Same kind of story on grain, sorghum, and then soybeans. An example, if you had a 40 bushel average yield, 75% coverage, you'd actually need a yield below 37 bushel per acre, the way prices are today, to collect a claim. So again, the good news is we have great yields. So I doubt we're going to be looking at many revenue claims, but it's something to keep an eye on. If we have some underperforming areas, or if prices continue to drop further than where they are now. And those prices will be determined here throughout this month of October. It'll be the average during this month.
How does basis play into that, right?
Yeah, we're unfortunately for this year it doesn't at all. We're part of the price problem this year is futures, and obviously we're hearing a lot of reports of some really negative basis throughout our area. But for crop insurance, those base prices and harvest prices, neither one of those take into account basis. That averages straight off of the futures market. So some years that works in our favor, some years it works against us, and this is probably one of those years where we'd like to see basis accounted for in that.
Well, as we start moving forward and we're thinking about our coverage for next year in the new Farm Bill, how are these lower prices going to play in determining what we do next year?
Yeah, it's going to have a big impact on crop insurance coverage, really compared to what producers have been used to for 5, 6, 7, 8 years now. We've had some really high crop insurance coverage levels in terms of dollars. That's led to some higher premiums that occasionally people haven't been real happy with, but the trade-off for that great coverage has been well worth it. Looking at 2015, if things stay the way they are, those prices will be established for corn, grain, sorghum, and soybeans in February of 2015. Right now we're looking at those being dramatically lower than what we're used to, and if input costs stay the same as they are, we're going to be unfortunately guaranteeing a lot lower percentage of cost structure than what we've become used to. So that'll be a luxury that farmers are probably going to have to adjust to not having maybe like they've had in the past. Unless we see a rebound. That would be great. That'd be the best news.
Mike, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Staying abreast of all the latest agricultural technology and research can be overwhelming. That is why the North Central Soybean Research Program has established the Soybean Research and Information Initiative to provide continuous updates. The information focuses on yield robbing diseases and insects, weed management, basic and applied research results, and agronomics to optimize soybean production. More than 80% of North American soybeans grow in the North Central states, and the initiative aims to collect all the soybean production information that will benefit the region's farmers in one easy-to-find spot. It is a central location for all the soybean research being done by NCSRP grant recipients and their collaborators. If anyone needs accurate, updated research, they always will have a place to go. Established in 1992, NCSRP includes the soybean boards in Kansas and the 11 states to its north and east. The program's mission is to maximize farmer returns by coordinating regional research efforts, minimizing duplicated research, and ensuring that projects target common problems faced by North Central soybean farmers. You can learn more about NCSRP and other soybean checkoff funded production research by visiting kansassoybeans.org/research on the web.
Folks are generations removed from farming, and they have honest concerns and questions about today's food system. Kansas Farm Bureau Board of Directors knows that there are fear and information swirling around today's food system, and we're looking at ways to connect with consumers. And nobody wants to be scared about the food they're feeding their families. Kansas Farm Bureau is doing all we can to connect with consumers and provide an avenue for discussion. One of the things we're doing is connecting with bloggers, especially Kansas City bloggers. We've partnered with Kansas Soybeans and the United Soybean Board to offer opportunities for farmers and bloggers to connect. This spring, we hosted a small half-day tour in Kansas City. We had 3 bloggers join us at the Steve Tuttle Farm and had a great time. They learned about crops and cattle and got an up-close and personal view of some of the farm animals. The bloggers asked a ton of great questions. From the success of that tour, we're now planning a 3-day blogger tour that will take us clear across the state and back. We have 7 bloggers that are excited to join us on the trek. We will learn about hydroponic basil, pork, cattle, sorghum, and wine. They're so excited to learn about the diversity of Kansas farms. Kansas farms have so much to offer, and it's a testament to the bloggers that they're excited to go on this trip with us and spend 3 days on the road and learn about Kansas farming.
If you'd like to advertise your business on kansasAGreport, give us a call at 785-554-5974. You can find us on the web at kansasAGreport.com and make sure to like us on Facebook.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second-to-none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Since 1983, the Hydrobed has been utilized on cattle operations throughout North America. The Hydrobed equips your 3/4 or 1-ton truck for hay handling and feeding. Variable speed cable controls or the optional wireless remote enable you to haul, transport, and unroll 2 round bales weighing up to 3,000 pounds each. A mechanical free float automatically compensates for uneven ground and out of round bales, isolating you and the truck from impact of bale unrolling. To find out how the Hydrobed can improve your feeding efficiency, call or visit us on the web at triple-c-inc.com.
The comment deadline for the Environmental Protection Agency's proposed Waters of the U.S. rule is November 14. According to the Kansas Department of Agriculture Division of Conservation, the rule change would increase regulated stream miles in Kansas from the current 35,000 to 139,000. It also could expand federal jurisdiction to include ditches and ponds. In addition, some common practices such as applying manure to land or building stock ponds would require a permit under the proposal. Grazing cattle, building fence, and other practices would need to meet standards set by the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service. National Cattlemen's Beef Association members have submitted 4,500 comments to EPA, which is about halfway to the organization's goal of 10,000. Only 100 of those comments have been from Kansas. The association's comments alone are not enough to win this battle. Submitting comments only takes a few minutes and could make a big impact on the final outcome of the rule or the legal action to follow. Kansas livestock producers are encouraged to submit comments through the link provided on the front page of the KLA website. Ranchers are asked to customize the general comments provided on the website with an example of how it would affect their operation.
Hi, I'm Brian Holder with Paragon Ag. Corn yields continue to be impressive. However, as more reports come in from Iowa and Minnesota, we expect lower yields to dominate the trade in the weeks ahead. This could give rise to small bounces in the market that producers can take advantage of. Many producers are storing their early corn harvest and hope for higher prices and improved basis in the future. However, the size of this crop, if it meets current expectations, storage space will begin to fill by late October or early November, which would force many to sell those overrun bushels, meaning we could still see the harvest lows ahead of us. On the demand side, high freight rates and a strong dollar are deterring export demand. Ethanol is profitable at the current corn price, but the blending wall may limit demand. Livestock and poultry should see an increase in demand for corn, but will not be able to absorb the huge supply. So until something on the demand side of the equation changes, we continue to expect the deferred contracts in corn to work their way down to the harvest lows made in the December. Russian wheat prices rose over the past few weeks on increased domestic demand outlook. This has been supportive to the U.S. wheat futures, but most of the world still has an abundance of wheat, and we need additional world wheat problems to turn this market bullish. For questions or comments, give Paragon a call at 888-452-8751.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.